here we are. We are at Riverview Beach Park in Pennsville, opposite to what you normally see us at. Normally we're over at Battery Park in Delaware. Mike couldn't be with us today because he's got some family things that he's got going on. That's fine. But our mission must go on. I know we've been quiet for quite some time, but everything going on with COVID, we had a few scares over at the base with us. We're all good, we're all healthy, we're all safe. That's all that matters. But I know we've talked about this before with my guest sitting next to me, Dr. Greg Castro. We were going to do an interview with him a while back. He was trying to get everything up and running. Obviously, it's a little difficult in the times that we're in, but here we are. He has now officially got his business up and running. He's got Facebook, he's got internet, and I'll let him introduce himself to you here in a second. But I just want you guys to know that we are here, we are doing this, and we're actually going to start doing interviews here. So please reach out to us and let us know if you want to sit down and talk to us and tell us about some of your journeys and what you guys are doing through this whole thing. All right, so without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to a good friend of mine. He worked with me when he was doing physical therapy with another organization. Does great work. I highly recommend it. I'm symptom free as of today. I had a few aches and pains, but that comes with the workouts that we do. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Dr. Greg Castro.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? So I started my business, Joint Theory Physical Therapy. One of the things that we wanted to focus on was really taking heart to taking care of people and giving them what they actually need. And in the way, one of the things that pushed me to really starting this business was that I wasn't getting the opportunities with the current system that we have in place, of how people go to see their physical therapist. We weren't getting the opportunities we wanted as therapists to spend the time that we needed with them to get the best results. And so I wanted to branch out, and I wanted to start my own business where we can take the time and spend the time that you need, and that is what's going to make the difference in not only your functional status, but your overall health, because we're kind of looking at things from a very holistic perspective. So we don't just treat the body part, we treat the person.
Yeah. All right. Now, with that, why don't you tell the audience about a little bit about your background, how you started in this career, and what drove you? Obviously, you just talked about what drove you to doing this, but why don't you tell them a little bit about your background?
Sure. So, I am a physical therapist, but I'm also an athletic trainer. I've been working in this field of orthopedics and athletics for probably over a decade now, and I've seen a lot. I've had a lot of experiences, and I've seen things that work, things that don't work, and what I wanted to bring is my current expertise into the mix. But I am currently working towards an MDT certification, which is a mechanical diagnosis and treatment certification, which specializes in a systematic approach of finding out what is the root cause of the issue. And I've seen fantastic results with this. He can attest to being one of the clients there. It really does work, and it's one of the things that is driving me to kind of keep learning, keep growing as a practitioner, and you never stop learning in this business.
Yeah, that's true. That's true about a lot of things that we do. Even with my profession as an emergency manager, everything changes. Everything is ever evolving, and we always have to stay on top of our game. Same thing with when we're dealing with sports and stuff like that, and the strongman and powerlifting stuff. Even though I've taken a side stage to all that now, just because of the injuries and stuff, I'm tired of dealing with that, and I want to be a little bit healthier.
But as we all do.
Yeah, I know you talked about how everything evolved for you with the business, but what was one of the main things that made you decide to take this journey into entrepreneurship?
To be honest, because of I'd say what the current system of physical therapy is, we are limited in what we can do. with the time available, the mandates of our of what we have to do in a standard clinic, and what I wanted to do was break out of that pattern where people get these custom or not custom cookie cutter type routines, and it's not necessarily the therapist's fault. It's just the way the system is, and that's what standard clinics have to do to stay in business. That's what they have to do, and I wanted to break away from that because I think that the clients and the people that I see deserve better, and that's our goal, is to give you the best quality of care while still also understanding that, you know, there's a time convenience for you, you know, that your time matters too. And so one of the things that we're able to do with the way we do things is we oftentimes see you on a one-on-one type treatment for a whole hour. So you don't get to spend just a couple minutes with your therapist. You get to spend the entire time with your therapist, and it's a one-on-one treatment. There's no double books, no triple books, no quadruple books. One of the things that we also specialize in is the aftercare. You know, one of the things that's going to be a focus of mine is keeping people in that preventative state from having recurrent injuries.
Okay, good. So obviously, I mean, you're very passionate about it. I can see the way that you talk about it and your energy behind this. And when we had our interactions when you were treating me,
yeah,
that I could also see that there was the passion to want to do it. It's just trying to make those steps in the right direction and figuring out when the best time was.
Yeah.
So with that being said, how does it make you feel knowing that you're helping others through this type of therapy? Does this help to motivate you in any way?
Absolutely. Yes, it is a huge motivating factor for me to be able to help someone. I think not just me, but I feel like any therapist, one of the best things that we can get from a patient is their understanding of and appreciation for how we were able to help them. So, you know, going away for, you know, coming in with years of pain and coming back a couple visits later saying they haven't felt this good in years.
Yeah,
I mean that type of reward for us is the best thing we can ask for, and it just pushes us to really strive for the best every time.
And I mean, I can honestly say that I am a testament to that because of the injury that I had sustained with my back, and it was actually causing, I wouldn't say nerve damage, but it was causing nerve issues in my left leg.
Right.
So I mean, I can honestly say that I understand where you're coming from, and what you did for me was helpful, and I'm living a better life now that I've had that happen, you know, that experience with you. Now, when we talked about, you know, trying to start up a business and everything,
Sure.
what were some of the difficulties, and what are some of the difficulties for you now in the current situation that we're in?
I think one of the difficulties, especially because what we do is we offer a concierge type practice, right? So we are going into people's homes, and while that's safer in most senses than you going to a standard clinic where there's a ton of people, you know, everyone's making their own adjustments. We're still following all of the guidelines that we can to keep you safe. However, we understand, and I had made another video about this previously, that we understand that not everyone's ready to let somebody into their home.
Correct.
So we are also offering telehealth services as well, so that we can accommodate those people's levels of comfort.
Okay. I mean, like with the telehealth thing, I mean, I deal with it with the VA obviously right
Sure.
now because they're not allowing patients in there, and I think it's actually a good means if people aren't comfortable with that for you to interact with them. Now, granted, they're not giving that physical interaction,
Right.
so to say, but they're at least being able to talk to you and see facial expressions and see, you know, like a way they move or something like that. Because I know with physical therapy, they may not always tell you
body
exactly
language.
what happens, right?
Yeah. Body language is a huge part.
I mean, don't feel that, you know, telehealth and the video conferencing doesn't do any good by not being there physically seeing the doctor. It does, because with somebody like his experience, they can still pick up on your body language and see what's wrong with you. Okay, So
yeah,
don't.
he knows I've yelled at him across the room before for
Yeah.
little minor things that he's done.
Posture is what I always get told by him. So now, with what you're doing with the health profession and what we talk about with Strengthen the Human, we always talk about our core values in Strengthen the Human, and we refer to them through the pillars of strength. Okay, we've talked about it in previous episodes, and we've actually gone into depth with a couple of those things. And for us, the pillars of strength are physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional. And I can attest for myself that, being in pain and being in chronic pain and dealing with that, it does play a toll on the individual, both physically, mentally, and spiritually, because you just feel like you can't do anything. You have that feeling like, well, I want to go do this with my family, but I can't because I'm going to hurt.
Yeah.
So, with your experiences, how does those core values fit into the healing process of your patients?
Absolutely. So everyone's different. Everyone's got their own story. Everyone's got their own experience with an injury or a past experience with even treatment that they've had in the past. And that can really affect how someone's going to do going forward. One of the things that we try to do is always keep a positive attitude towards everything. And I know that some of my patients and clients have really appreciated that, because it's gotten them through those tough days, those darker days that maybe they're not feeling so optimistic about their care. But you know what? I always reassure them it's just a day. It's one day.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? You may have a type of injury that's going to have those good days and bad days, but it's one day. And there's always another day, and that positivity is how we try to approach our individuals. And also, we have people who, I try to give as much information to my clients as I can, because I feel like it's important that they understand what is going on physiologically. And that in itself oftentimes helps people calm down and understand what's going on.
Absolutely.
People get the first ache and pain that they feel, and they'll freak out.
Mm-hmm.
They'll be, oh my God, I can't do this, or I shouldn't be doing this, I need to stop doing whatever I'm doing. That's not always the case.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the ways that our system works is it helps identify those problems and what it is that you actually need to be doing. You go to the doctor, you hurt your knee from running, let's say. What's the doctor say? Stop running.
Yep, stop running.
Stop running. Our goal is to keep you functional, keep you doing those things that you want to be doing. And depending on the injury, because again, everyone's different and every injury is different, not everyone can go right back to it, but if you're able to, we're keeping you going with doing what you're doing, maybe making some mild modifications, but our goal is to keep you, again, functional as you can be, and doing all the things that you want to be able to do. And sometimes it's as simple as just telling somebody that you're okay, you're not fragile, go and do it.
Yeah.
And people need to hear that.
All right. So I mean, talking about like the interactions with the people and working with them and making them so they're functional, this is a good segue into the process that you and I went through when I first came to your office.
Right.
And some of the things that we did, like I know the VA, talking with them, I went through several treatments and stuff like that, various treatments, one of them being chiropractic, and the other one on top of that, they had me do acupuncture. The chiropractic part of it, you did some of that with adjusting by pushing my spine and stuff like that. However, with the acupuncture side of the house, that's what drove me to see you guys and go back to the VA and tell them, hey, look, I had this happen to me, and it put me in so much pain that I literally had to go to the emergency room for them to give me a shot in order to take the pain away.
Right.
And because of the severity, the VA thought it best for me to try to find a place to where I could do some aquatic therapy. And fortunately for me, we had a facility here in Pennsville, my local town, that offered that. So I wound up going to see them, and this is where Greg and I actually met. And he sat down with me, he talked to me. We went through basically what you felt needed to happen. And then you told me that the aquatic therapy was definitely not a viable option right now because it was for older patients or more severe patients than what
or a lower level or lower functional level.
Yep.
While your issues were, debilitating to a certain level, you were still fairly functional, and I didn't believe that it was going to be in your best interest to start there, and I think things turned out pretty well.
Oh yeah, they did. They absolutely did. I would say probably it took a little bit of time. I think we did like 30 sessions in total. I think is what it actually came out to be
Total, but we started seeing relief.
Oh yeah,
fairly quickly.
Yeah, probably within. I would say probably maybe by the fourth session. I mean, the leg issue was slowly starting to subside, and I was starting to get relief to where it wasn't going numb, it wasn't burning.
Right.
And then as we progressed through the treatments.
Yeah.
I mean, everything just started to flow.
Yours was a little bit of a special case because it was a very, very chronic issue, right? This has been going on for a long time.
Oh yeah, I would say probably a couple of years. I was dealing with it, but that was just me being stubborn, and it happens.
You're not alone.
I'm sure many of you people can relate out there with that. But really, for me, it came down to being functionable and being able to enjoy time with my family, and also to be able to do my job. I was a firefighter. I needed to be able to function, I needed to be able to put on gear, and I needed to be able to go into a situation to where people needed to rely on me to help them in order not to get hurt. So that was my come to Jesus, if you want to say, to actually seek help and get this treatment.
Right.
And working with you, it just shed a whole new light on me on physical therapy and how to treat the body, and with the holistic approach that you did, here I am sitting next to you, pain-free, with no issues right now.
Yeah.
And I owe that to you.
Yeah.
I mean, you taught me things that I need to do in order to help when I start to feel those aches and pains. And you still reached out to me after the fact.
Yeah.
I mean, we were what, beginning or at the end of last year is when we actually stopped.
I think so.
The treatment.
Yeah, I think so.
And here we are in June, we're still talking about it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that's awesome.
Yeah, and I do try to check up on you and my other clients periodically. One of the things that we offer at Joint Theory is an open line of communications. Oftentimes you have to call the office, you have to wait a day or two to hear back from your therapist or doctor or whoever it is. We have an open line of communication, texting, calls. I always got my phone on me, so I want that open line of communication, especially if you're having an issue.
Yeah, and I think that's crucial, especially for what myself and Mike do with training. I mean, we're dealing with strongman, we're dealing with powerlifting, so we're lifting a lot of heavy weights, and injury it's with that. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when it's going to happen.
Right.
And you have to be big enough or better enough to say, hey, look, I've hurt myself, I need help. That's the first step, is admitting that you have a problem. I mean, you can look at it across the board with all types of things, but the first thing comes, you have to admit you have a problem. And with the open line of communication that I have with Dr. Castro, I can say, let me call him up, or let me text him, hey, I did this, I'm having an issue with my back, what can I do? Well, he'll come back at me and say, hey, are you doing your stretches, dummy? That's the first thing, right? Is stretches. And then the other thing is, what's your posture? Your posture is crucial in that. And these are all things that I've learned with working with him over the short period of time that we've actually interacted.
Well, one of the things is you're also an experienced lifter. You're not ignorant to how your body works, how it feels, and all these things. And it's hard, especially it's sometimes harder for the people that are very involved with athletics. It's hard for them to take that step back, and go back to basics in some cases. But if you take that time and you do that, and then the faster you can get back to those things that you were doing. And that one of the things that we worked on, you had a specific goal in mind to get back to the particular lifts that you wanted to do. So we started back to a more basic level and getting you comfortable in proper form and technique and all those things. And I think those are really what made a difference for you. So.
And the other thing too is, I know we've talked about this, and maybe the audience would want to try to understand it a little bit better. So when you're talking about your holistic approach compared to your conventional treatments, what's the difference, and why does it seem to me, with my experiences with what I've dealt with in the past, why does it happen quicker, your results?
Right. So on the holistic part, how are we different? I will kind of take into account the entire scenario. What happened, when this first started. Not just looking, you come into me and you say you have knee pain.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not just going to look at your knee. I'm going to look at the whole body, whole person. Honestly, I've had a lot of cases. Let's say somebody has a wrist pain or a foot pain. Oftentimes it comes from your neck or back, and
Mm-hmm.
so we look at the whole body. We don't just assess one joint or two joints or three joints. We look at everything and see how, because everything, kind of goes back to that, the knee bone connects to the thigh bone.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's intertwined, everything's interconnected, and nerves especially can be very deceiving. And one of the things I really enjoy about that is kind of figuring out that puzzle, and leading into the other aspect. Why does my approach work faster? Well, the mechanical diagnosis and treatment that I focus my treatments on allows me to look and find if there's a mechanical problem. Is a particular joint not working properly? And if it's not moving properly, there can be what we call neural inhibitions. And not to get too technical, but it simply means that your body is actively not sending the signals the way they should,
Mm-hmm.
in an attempt to prevent your body from doing particular movements.
Yeah.
So we correct the issue. It's amazing how someone will go from a weakness in their leg that they maybe didn't know was there before, to having full strength.
Okay.
And that's not necessarily that they just gained a bunch of strength. They just unblocked the blockage of the neural inhibition.
So, like we've been talking about, like how you help people when they get injured. So let's move on the other side of the realm here, and things that they can do to be preventive. To not, I mean, obviously you want them to come see you, but things
Sure.
that can help them through being active, being fit, positive attitude when they do come to see you. I mean, how does that help the person?
Yeah, honestly, some people will go to therapy and they will think, okay, my problem's gone, I'm fixed, I'm good, I don't have to do the exercise anymore, I don't have to worry about anything. I think that people just need to stay active, and and there's nothing against those couch potatoes out there, but that ends up leading you back into old habits. When people leave us, I want them to realize, I want them to have learned through the process, not just for me to fix an injury that you have. I want you to grow as a person. I want you to learn about your own body, learn what works, what doesn't work, learn what you need to do for yourself. And it doesn't necessarily mean you need to go run a marathon. It doesn't necessarily mean you can't go run a marathon. You need to find out what your level is, what you need to do to keep yourself active. And it's not just about getting people back to athletics. It could be as simple as being able to pick up your son or daughter off the ground.
Yeah, and that's where I had my issues. That's what really drove me home to seek help.
Yeah.
Well, I couldn't pick up my kids.
Right.
So,
I have a 2-year-old son now, and he's jumping all over me. But if I had an issue, I wouldn't be able to do that. And sometimes for me, it's about finding out what's important to the individual, and because I can correct knee pain all day long, but if I didn't get you back to what you want, I didn't do my job.
And I think that attitude right there and what you just said is what makes you a step above the rest of the physical therapy facilities that are out there that do what you were doing before you decided to venture out. Having that understanding of, okay, yeah, the person's injured, but what is it they're looking to gain, and get into a more personable approach to helping heal that person.
Absolutely.
And also the other thing, the caveat onto that, is the fact, like I said, you reaching out to the patients. I mean, that to me means everything to me, and that's what would drive me to be more informative with you and to reach out more to you and seek guidance in those areas, especially with what I'm doing and the conditions that I have. I mean, let's face it, people, I'm not any type of a competitor anymore, and I never will be, but I still like to do stupid things every once in a while and see how much I can lift. But that's just human nature for me, and that's what, my passion. But I mean, for my future goal is to take the information that was given to me with what you did with your treatments, offer it to other people, and also, go more into coaching, powerlifting, and strongman training, and the strength training. And now I have a person to fall back onto if somebody does get injured, or if, God forbid, I get injured again. I can seek out medical attention from him as well. Go ahead.
No, yeah, no. So,
sorry. With that being said, I mean, I think we're gonna wrap things up here. This is amazing that we're actually out here doing this. It's a beautiful summer day. We're sweating a little bit. It's like 93 degrees, but I'm just happy that we were able to finally be able to do this. We've talked about this for a couple months now, and it's an amazing experience to see somebody start something, step out of their comfort zone, and do something that they're passionate about. Mike and I talk about this all the time. Get out there, do it. Don't be afraid to take that step. You don't know unless you try, right?
Right.
So for Dr. Castro here, I mean, he talked to me about this several occasions while I was going through treatment, and things just, didn't line up for him right away, but eventually they did. And now he's launched his business. He's launched his website and Facebook page. Why don't you give that to them?
Yeah, sure. If you want to check out my website, it's www.jointtheory.com, and you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Joint Theory PT for both. And my phone number, if you want to reach out and text, is 609-617-9735, and it's also listed on both the website, Facebook, and Instagram. You can also direct message me through any of those platforms. So please reach out if you have any problems. I'd be happy to talk to you, and we're also offering 30-minute free consultations if you're unsure about what you want to do.
There you go, people. Free. Reach out to him. He is awesome. He's amazing. I can never say enough about what he's done for me and how he's helped me personally with my ailments. I wouldn't have him on here if I didn't feel that way. But again, it's something that he's passionate about. This falls right in line with strengthening the human. All right. Yeah, he's a physical therapist. We're strongmen. We do intertwine because we injure ourselves. So I have to see him. All right. So, just like I said before, don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone and do something that you've always wanted to do. That's what this is about. That's what this project is about. And we want to do more of this. We want to do more interviews. So if you want to come out and you want to share your story with us, please. If you want to promote your business, please reach out to us. We're here. We will promote you. And hopefully, in the future, we're going to do some more interviews with Dr. Castro, and I'll even let him work on me so you guys can see exactly what it is that he does with his holistic approach if you have questions about it.
Absolutely.
And also, if you have questions and you want to get answers, please, you can always message me, message Mike, and we can get those questions over to Dr. Castro. And I will be sure to put his contact information on the video so you guys can reach out to him. And it'll also go on our Instagram and our Facebook page.
Yep, I'll be posting it on mine.
So we can get that out to you. So I think that's going to be enough for today. It's hot. Let's get some water.
Yes.
Rehydrate. Stretch if you're injured. And remember to keep good posture. Because if not, this guy is going to remind you in one way or the other. All right? So stay safe, stay strong. As always, Viking power.